Three, two, one. Hello, good sirs. Hope you're having a good evening. I'm Hector with my co-host Gilbert.
Hello, everybody.
Hope you're all doing well. And we've got another episode of Endeavour News. Got some interesting stuff this week. We're going to look at the 100-day report of the National Party coalition in government. We're going to look at the continued collapse of the Green Party. And we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to look into Gamergate 2.
Ooh, here
Should have
we go.
Should have trusted Sargon of Akkad's 10-year plan because it's all accumulating to this.
Yeah, true. Oh, jeez. Yeah.
But
Anyway.
yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. We'll start off with the 100-day assessment of the government. Well, this is Newsroom's one, but it does list off what they did. They give it a weird star rating, which just seems sort of seems a bit like infantile to do that. It's like this is government policy, not like a movie.
Yeah,
It's
or
not like it.
restaurants or something.
Yeah, it's not like it's
Uber
not a
Eats.
restaurant. It's not like you're watching a Marvel movie. You don't have to give it a rating out of 5. So
Yeah.
we'll ignore these like cringe
That's-
ratings and just go over what the government did or what they said they were going to do.
The propaganda has been so bad on people that they can only think of like rating things in stars and likes and emojis and stuff like that. They can't actually, they don't have the attention span to like read
Yeah.
a paragraph or something. Yeah, that's pretty
I mean,
terrible.
yeah, just look at this cringe stuff. It says here we rate the government's 100 days plan as 3.3 stars out of 5.
Above average. Yeah.
Above average. I don't know how they come up with this nonsense. But
Yeah, it just sounds very subjective, doesn't yeah,
yeah,
I don't know how they do that. Yeah.
but
Mm,
the main reason we got it here is they compiled it all in one list, so that's good because then
mm.
I didn't have to do it myself. So uh, might as well use the labor of these cringy journalists for ourselves and improve on it.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So number one was stop the work on the income insurance scheme.
hmm
I mean, whatever.
Yeah, whatever that was.
Bit of a non one there.
Yeah, that doesn't seem. Labour Chris Hipkins came to a decision as part of a broader policy reprioritization after he succeeded Jacinda Ardern as the country's leader on. Yeah, okay. That's
What does this like paragraph even mean? It's not even describing anything.
income insurance scheme. Yeah. I don't know. Is that? Yeah. Anyway, okay. We'll
Well,
skip that.
that's a sort of a non-one to start off with. Stop work on the industry transport plans. So that was, I don't know, like these bike lane infrastructure projects all over the country. I believe like the Auckland
Yeah.
Light Rail was one, and that was like $10 billion, and they stopped funding the what is it, Get Wellington Moving thing, where it was like a bunch of bike lanes in Wellington that were going to cost like $8 billion. So that was a
Mm,
good one. Just stop paying money for all these like cringe bike lanes they keep building and no one ever uses.
yeah. Well, exactly. Like people have to get to work, and people in New Zealand like drive all over the show to get to work as well. So it's like it's just so obvious what it is. It's just like building toward 15-minute cities and stuff like that. That's what that was. Like, and this is part of making everything more expensive as well. They're really trying to browbeat people to get used to their gay globo homo sort of prison. Really, it's a prison. They're manufacturing a prison. So anyway, I just thought I'd chuck that in there. Like,
Yeah.
not a lot of people talk about that, but that's a very real thing that they were, especially in Hamilton, I believe. I haven't seen Hamilton in a while, but
Yeah, like getting rid
yeah.
of car parks and building all these bike lanes that are never used.
Yeah.
And these light rail projects and rail projects that always like go over budget by like 400% nearly every time.
Yeah. It's like, why can't we? Yeah, that's ridiculous, isn't
Well,
it? It'd
speaking
be good
of,
if we. Oh
uh,
yeah, go.
I'll
You
just
go.
gotta go to the. No, you finish your point, then I'll move on.
I was gonna say it would be cool if we had like what Japan had, where we had a train connecting up all of New Zealand. That would be something that would, I think, provide an
Yeah,
economic boom. I think that would be nice. Then
yeah, I
yeah.
guess that would be good, but I think you can argue that New Zealand doesn't have the population
Mm,
to justify such an infrastructure investment. But it is what it
Sure.
is. I mean, it's better than bike lanes though, too. That's to be sure. Well, anyways, speaking of like budget blowouts, the Lake Onslow pumped hydro, that again, like literally was like 4 times overpriced, and I don't even think they really started on it.
Mm,
So they cancelled that early on. Pumped hydro is a bit of a meme. It's like you use water. It's not like a normal hydro plant. You build like a big basin, and then when you've got
mm,
too much power in the grid, you pump the water up to the upper basin, and then when you've got less power in the grid, you release the water again to generate electricity. But
hmm,
it's just like a weird way of energy storage. They have it in Ireland and a few other places. I think it's for some of the United States. It's basically
mm,
like using water as a battery, but it's sort of like if you manage your grid well enough anyway, you don't really need it.
mm, mm. Yeah, yeah. No, that's not. Where was this? Ships
Uh,
at Huntley Power Station. Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm,
So,
mm,
I mean,
yeah.
there's already the power station in Huntley, but yeah, they are building more geothermal plants. That is part of the plan as well. I think that's they're right there.
Mm,
Renewable
mm.
energy. There's a lot of cringe ones in there, like you know how like wind and solar are like memes and not even really that energy efficient. But
Yeah.
you know, geothermal power is proven, and it's probably
Mm,
like the best way
mm.
of generating electricity, and New Zealand's perfect for it. So
Yeah.
they are
Yeah.
planning to build more geothermal plants, but it's like if you just manage the geothermal plants properly, you don't need a big pumped hydro storage anyway.
Mm,
But
mm,
it's not really necessary.
mm,
So
mm.
there's what I mentioned before, the Get Wellington moving, yeah, a bunch of $7.4 billion in bike lanes, so might as well just save the money. A massive amount of money on that nonsense.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Um, what else have we got?
So putting funding for natural in quotes disasters. Like, is there weather seeding going on?
Mm,
Probably, but
oh yeah.
yeah, so more funding for that.
Mm,
It is what it is.
mm. Yeah, it's
Yes.
terribly unfortunate that that goes on. I mean, because who really knows what they're putting in those things that they're just spreading out all over the country. In the UK, it's the worst. I've seen them do like multiple ones in a day, and it could be anything. Who knows what is actually in there? And most people don't even know that it's happening. You know,
Yeah, most
it
people don't
might.
even know like weather seeding's a thing. Like, it's
Yeah, and
existed for like 100 years, but people don't even know about it.
yeah, yeah. In fact, it's caused like some major catastrophes, and it's all to. They suspect it's been part of some major catastrophes in the U.S. and other places, but especially in China, they caused a monumental f up, where they basically transported all the water into one dam and just completely flooded the province. Like it's kind of so typical of the CCP, just go so overboard on something and
Yeah.
destroy everything, as if the environment isn't bad enough over there. But yeah, I mean, so the implications of that whole thing are, I mean, yeah, we something needs to be, talked about
I
in
mean, it's
regards
bad
to that.
enough in China. There's so much smog there. They already get like acid rain and whatnot. So,
Yeah, God. Yeah, terrible. Yeah, with the big platinum screen TV showing the sun so that they can look at the
oh,
sun.
speaking of
Yeah.
like cringy stuff about China, do you ever see like these like shill Twitter posts? It's like, wow, China's so advanced. It's just literally a city with a bunch of LEDs on it. Like
Yeah,
it's just a
yeah,
skyscraper
yeah.
with LEDs. I'm like, wow, dude, glowing lights. It's so advanced. This is
Yeah,
crazy. Who
meanwhile,
cares?
yeah, yeah. Meanwhile, like 60 to 70% of the rest of China is like crumbling, and like there's millions of people who are homeless. Students can't get work. They're like overqualified. They've got the worst
Yeah.
demographics in terms of fertility.
I
Like a
think
woman.
only country worse than China is like South Korea, and that place is just cooked.
Yeah, yeah. Shoot. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I guess they just have to rely on hyperbreeders or something like.
I don't know what they're gonna do. I mean,
Yeah. Well, you need to stop educating. You know who. The WQ, the woman question. I don't want to say because we're on YouTube, and you know I shy away from that. But no, they need to do that. That's been proven. That if you educate them, then fertility drops.
yeah, well, it's all about like urbanization and yeah, education levels and
So many different
housing
things.
affordability is a big one as well. I think it's
Mm, mm.
hilarious. China is a supposedly like communist country, and it's got the most unaffordable housing in like the entire planet.
Yeah,
That's pretty
yeah,
funny.
yeah, pretty. But we're all equal, so we all can't afford housing
Yeah,
equally. So yeah, that's tight. But these guys, they're just like seething. They're part of the seething third worldist kind of incel army. Like
incel army.
it's not that I have anything against incels, of course, but I consider myself one. But but um,
Are you sure you
but
want to make that statement?
yeah, man, yeah,
Okay.
proud no, I'm joking. I don't think I say that in jest to myself, but yeah, incel army rise up. But nah, the what was I actually saying again? I
We're
completely
talking
just
about China, and then you said you're in the incel army for some reason.
yeah. Well, fine. It probably doesn't matter. It'll come back to me. But let's progress through this.
Yeah, okay. We went on a tangent about China. That's always an interesting. All right, so
Yeah.
next one is reducing public sector expenditure. Another good one. The public sector in New Zealand is extremely bloated. Although it's only a cut of 6.5 to 7.5%, we need a cut of about, I don't know, 30% at least
Oh
to the
yeah.
public sector. The public sector
Oh
here is
yeah.
just massively overbloated. And you don't even get anything from it. Like
Yeah.
it
What are
doesn't
we getting?
work.
What do we get? What are New Zealanders getting? We get taxed out our ears. The inflation goes up all the time. High interest rates. It's just a complete mess. How? No wonder there's a mass exodus to Australia, where people actually have some level of dignity. In terms of being able to work and provide for themselves and whoever else. But it's just we are just getting. I mean, yes, it's a major cuts have to happen to this government and just reduce it to the bare bones of what do you actually need to actually keep a country
Yeah,
running?
I mean, you can do stuff with like automation. I mean, we don't live in, the 50s anymore. People don't have
Mm,
to hand file things and stuff like that. You got computers and databases and automation,
mm,
computing power. You don't
mm.
need all these bureaucrats anymore. I mean, I had to like fill in a form to the government the other day. I had to like literally mail it in. Like, I couldn't even just submit it online. It was ridiculous.
You had to call your pigeon and tie it around
Oh,
its
well, it's
ankle.
pretty close to that. I'm just like, why can I not just fill this out online and then like a computer sorts it out in a day instead of having to like send it off and wait 2 months? Or what? It's probably longer than that, but it's
Hector has
ridiculous
to
how slow it is.
Hector has to jump on the back of his donkey or horse, or ride
Yeah, it's not
ride to the
far off,
beehive.
really.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Okay.
All right,
What's next?
the next one was narrow the Reserve Bank's mandate to price stability. Because
Mm,
remember how Labor brought in they said the Reserve Bank needs to mandate like diversity and cultural inclusion of
yeah.
iwi or some nonsense like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Just bunch of friggin' communist gobbledygook.
Yeah,
It's just bull crap. It's just total. But this is the kind of stuff that they have actually gotten away with to date. I mean, you see this practically in every business. It's just nonsense, pure nonsense. So this is what it is. We need to have 6 million women. We need to have 6 million
well,
Maoris.
that's basically it. Like that's what the
Yeah.
Reserve Bank was saying. So they got rid of that, like just nonsense mandates that the Reserve Bank, for some reason, had to
Hmm.
consider when issuing it, like the official cash rate and bonds. I don't really get it.
Yeah. No. Nor do I. But yeah, that's a funny thing. But
Yeah.
yeah. So that was so. What were they doing there? Sorry.
Oh, they got rid of those. They got rid of
Yeah.
the diversity inclusion mandates in the Reserve Bank. So
Mm,
good one,
mm,
really. Sort of
yeah.
ridiculous that was even a thing to begin with. All right, so
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
one, unless you have something you want to add to that.
No. No. That's pretty. It's pretty amazing that we have to deal with this. But yeah. Anyway, let's move on. That's okay.
They're getting rid of the Auckland fuel tax. Another good
Mm,
one.
yeah. That is actually an important one because they are really screwing New Zealand over with how
Uh,
they're
yeah.
subsidizing electric vehicles and like Tesla charging stations and all that. Like that is like you think about how little space we have for parking and then there's Tesla designated areas or electric vehicle designated areas, and they're really not that. Like you can own one and you can go pretty far, but I don't know. I'd say you'd want your car to last you a while, and I don't think Teslas actually take you really that far, you know.
Oh,
And
like a couple, like 200, 300 kilometers, absolute max.
yeah, yeah, and then the battery's not gonna last for that long either. But not really, not really. So it's just like, man, we're putting all our money into this like fake infrastructure with the bike lanes and the weird, oh, let's erect so many wind turbines and so many of this, and it's all kind of fake. It's not actually solving a problem. And you know what I thought, just on the side, like the other day, I thought, even if like we do absolutely everything in our power to combat global warming, it doesn't matter because the Russians and the Chinese are going hard out harvesting coal and
Yeah,
oil and uranium, and they're doing the mining, and it's absolutely. I mean, they do not care at all about the environment. It's completely trash. I mean, we all know about China, but Russia's terrible too. It's awful. It's in a terrible state, and but Mikhail Gorbachev can host Green Cross International, which teaches Western Europeans, oh no, you need to get rid of your gas car, and we need to stop using gas. And the only way you can generate heat, you can't have fireplaces, but you can jump up and down in a soy club
where was it?
and
It
heat
was
up
like,
that.
I think it was
Mm,
in Ireland or England. They said they wanted to ban like fireplaces or something. Or maybe it was
yeah.
Germany. It was like some European country.
Yeah, it was that was in Germany, and they were saying, "Oh no, to heat up, all you need to do is dance." Like they were literally telling people that. It's like, what? Are you crazy?
Yeah, just do a
And
couple push-ups, you'll be fine.
yeah, and they were saying, yeah, and like sub-zero, like freezing, like it gets cold in Europe, man. It gets freaking cold. And yeah, they were telling the UK people, yeah, that's right. That like everybody I think they said that to the people in the UK. You're not allowed to use gas. We're taking away your gas stoves and stuff like that,
Yeah,
and no fireplaces. But the people in the UK just stocked up on firewood and those pot belly portable fireplace things, the
yeah, yeah,
old
yeah.
ones. So we're literally having to revert back to old technology because of these people. And yeah, so it's that was around about the time when the gas was going sky high because of bombing of the pipeline, I believe.
Yeah,
Which yeah, that
uh,
anyway, I don't want to go too
got a
far into
couple
that.
chats from
All
Linda
right,
Hunter. It
all
says,
right.
and the denigregation of our infrastructure and safety regulations. I
Yeah,
guess so. I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
that's a good way to put it, actually. I
And
like that.
filthy green rot. Yeah, I mean, well, it's all just green. Like it's is they. I think the ACT Party actually used the term green tape. It's sort of what it is. It's
Yeah.
green
Oh
tape, and
yeah.
it's just a bunch of nonsense. It's to
Oh
keep
yeah.
things more expensive, and it's to give bureaucrats like to justify their own existence by coming up with regulation and enforcing these nonsense regulations. And
Yeah.
then the one
Just.
below that, okay, this one's actually sort of like nonsense. They go
Mm,
cancel the fuel hike tax, but yeah, it says here National did it say it's going to put up the fuel tax in 2027. So like, yeah,
mm,
okay, you're going to not cancel the fuel hike tax by adding a fuel hike tax.
yeah. See, these people, and this is the exact whole thing, is that they're putting these things. This is how it always is. It's an ebb and a flow to all these political parties. They'll put something in. They'll you know sow some mustard seeds to the wind, but it'll never actually grow anything. And because that's not their intention. Instead of putting it on fertile soil, they just put it on rocks and thorns and stuff. It's never. They're all headed in the same trajectory, one way or another, along with Labour and Greens. So I mean, don't for any moment, if anybody listening to this is under any illusion that National and ACT is our savior, I mean, I don't know. You got to wake up and smell the coffee, because believe me, these people are trying in in a way that is deemed acceptable by the New Zealand people, uh, the progress, the
Yeah.
progress of which they take to enslave us. Essentially,
Yep.
labor was doing it at a much faster rate. So it's really to you, the New Zealand people, how much are you going to accept? How much are you going to allow them to do this? This is why we need to be pushing ever rightwards towards a nationalist New Zealand for New Zealanders, because it's all about how much you can accept and how much can we break your will until you come to a breaking point. And we need to stop letting them take us to those breaking points. We've got to totally turn around on them and say, no, you're under our thumb now. Get used to it. That's what we need to do. And New Zealanders have to get used to actually being maybe a bit bitchy, a bit boisterous, a bit in their face, and saying, "No, this is our New Zealand. This belongs to us. This is our country. You serve us. You don't have the right to enslave us and put all these taxes and green regulation, green tape,
Yeah.
all this bullcrap Marxist diversity DEI agenda. Get fucked.
Yeah.
It's we New Zealanders have to wake up, smell the coffee." And we have to become quite mean and quite fierce and quite unforgiving,
Yeah, well,
actually.
I mean, here you've got National Party just literally breaking their promise. So they cancelled Labor's like
Yeah,
tax increase and then brought in their own one. It's like,
yeah.
okay.
The same with the Koga. Yeah, it's like he's such an egghead. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, Luxon is just the feeling I get from that guy is he is the you know like stereotypical politician.
yeah,
And what I mean by that is probably what you are all thinking, where he'll smile with one mouth to one group of people, and he grows a second mouth to smile at a completely different group of people.
yeah.
He's got words to say for everyone to act as like a complete people pleaser. This is not someone that New Zealanders want to trust, especially as we're being torn right and left and hither and thither with these policies that are just destroying and enslaving us. So I
Um,
mean,
yeah.
yeah. Sorry, go ahead, man.
We've just got a couple more chats from Linda. Linda says rot is the act of bureaucratic theft. Yeah,
Mm,
I got you. It's like yeah, I misread it as rot, but rot. I don't even know how you really pronounce it. The
oh,
railway tunnels in Victoria are on hold because of more rorting. Offshore contracts and standards, it's worse than useless. And then she said she's Aussie. Oh, good to see you tune in from the other side of the pond.
hey, g'day, my fellow Australian. Hope it's all going well over there. Or she's here probably, but yeah, no, that's yeah. So I mean, that's the feeling that in fact that's not just Luxon. That's all these politicians. They're
Yeah.
all fake, completely fake. So yeah, just want to impress that on people.
So we've got the begin works on the roads of national significance. I'm not even sure what the roads of national significance is. I don't know what roads they're planning to build.
Mm, yeah, I
There
don't,
actually is a
I don't
road of
know.
significance. I think there's one around like Christchurch or something they're planning to build.
Yeah, is that what connecting the country up or roads of
Well, I
national?
mean, there are some pretty crap roads, but I don't think they're going to be like redoing State Highway 1 or something like that. I think it's just around some urban areas they want to make better roads around like Christchurch or something, which I guess is fine.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you got to have roads, so it's a part of yeah, NZ transport.
No, I
Yeah,
mean, it's
okay.
better to build some like actual roads around cities than build these useless like bike tunnels and bike lanes that no one ever uses.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Uh,
that's fair enough. That's good. And we're a lot of our roads are quite old in New Zealand, actually. And
oh yeah, I mean,
yeah.
State Highway 1 needs a complete like do-over.
Yeah, yeah. Wellingtonians are sick of the interminable arguing over basin reserve and a second tunnel. Yeah, okay. So
Um,
okay, that's what it is.
oh yeah, second tunnel. Repeal the clean car discount. So there's that.
Mm.
I got my clean car discount, so it was good. I bought a hybrid and I got $800 from the government, so
Oh,
I got
did you?
mine. I don't
There
know.
you. Fuck, I
It
need to do
probably
that.
it probably was a waste. It probably is a waste of money, but I was happy to take the $800. You might as well take it where you can.
Well, they're giving however much money to Tussie and you
Tussy
know
and fussy.
yeah, Tussie and Fussy at the Marai so they can chill at a I think you get a cheeky 800 there.
Yeah,
Here,
why not?
yeah.
Stop the speed limit reductions. Okay, the speed limit reductions were actual nonsense. So,
Oh,
I
thanks.
mean,
So
speed
that's
limits need to
changing.
be increased. Like the speed limit on, like again, back to State Highway 1 should at least be about 110, 120. At least with like the
Yeah.
straight parts, like some of the straight parts. You need like another lane. Like the entire thing needs to be 2 lanes. And
Mm,
the
mm,
speed limit on them should be about 220. Oh, not
mm.
220, that's probably a bit too high, 120.
Fuck. Yeah, yeah. Maybe not quite 220, but yeah, I kind of agree. I think it's a little
100,
bit.
100k speed limit's like really low in Europe. Going back to Europe, like most the time the speed limit on like rural roads is 120. So I don't
Mm,
know why like New Zealand isn't the same. Why we have to drive so slow all the time.
yeah, most New Zealanders do actually drive 110 to 120
120
actually
anyway. Yeah,
when
I
I'm
know.
on the road. Yeah, yeah, it's a bit
Well, that should
ridiculous.
just
Yeah.
be the speed limit like it is in Europe. But
But
anyways,
it's kind of silly because it's like people when there's more cars on the road, like people will slow down. Like no one's going to boost it when you've got 20 billion cars on the road and it's all locked up. It's like people can kind of gauge
yeah,
what's
I
safe.
mean you can sort of
People aren't
yeah.
retards.
Well, I mean maybe
Well,
some
I
people
mean,
are, but
well, you know what I mean though, right? Like at least in terms of something simple. Um, yeah, like that. People can kind of you know
Hmm,
get what to do.
yeah.
But yeah, Sorry, go ahead, man.
Well, I'm just going to say, I mean, if you're not a complete like numpty, you can usually figure out what's a like safe speed to drive.
Mm, mm. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's honestly, it should be just like, I think a lot of it is like people just getting drunk in New Zealand and crashing
Oh, I
into
think that's
stuff.
nearly all of it. I think something like 80% of car crash are caused by someone that was intoxicated either by alcohol or drugs. So
Mm,
lowering the speed limit isn't really going to change much.
no, you just need like harsher punishment, I guess,
Yeah.
on those people, and yeah. Mm.
Radicale Israel says you don't want them going any faster when they've been on a 3-day meth bender. Well, they're going to go like 180 anyway if they've been on a 3-day meth bender. So,
Yeah, yeah,
all right.
that's shocking.
We'll continue with this. We're going to be here all day if
Oh,
we
sorry,
don't
man. Yeah, go
we don't
for it.
get a
Yeah.
hustle on.
Mm,
The canceling canceling the Auckland Light Rail project again. That was like to build tram lines in the Auckland CBD for some reason.
mm,
Ridiculous project, not needed. So that's good.
mm,
Repeal the fair play legislation. Well, what actually is the fair play agreement? That's like between like unions and stuff, right? So I think that's to like make sure union pay increases with inflation. Which, I
mm.
mean, that doesn't sound too bad, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. No,
But I
I
guess
thought it
that's
was. Yeah, go.
I guess getting rid of this. What's actually in it?
Yeah.
Holiday. I don't know. Repealing that seems sort of cringe. You should
Mm,
be able to, get paid your holiday pay and whatnot.
yeah.
Restore the 90-day trials for all businesses. Uh,
Mm,
yeah, I guess that's fine. Because, I mean, it can actually hurt. I mean, I think it was already for small businesses anyway, because you're a small business and you hire someone that's a complete numpty, like it can
mm,
completely screw you over.
mm, mm,
I have contacts and friends and acquaintances that have had that exact thing happen to them.
mm,
They're like one person, they hire one employee, and their one employee is like a complete like numpty's a way to put it, and it's like
mm,
extremely hard to get rid of them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It would be good if they had like a way to prove, this person is unfit. So
That's what they have
yeah.
to do, but it's a lengthy process.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's too bad.
I mean, 90-day trials are fine
Mm,
usually.
mm, 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 mm.
Start work to improve the quality of regulation. Don't even know what this really means.
Mhm,
I guess changing regulation. I don't know what regulations they're changing. It just says the
mhm,
Regulation Standards Act. So I guess
mhm.
all regulation. Okay, we'll see what they do there. I'm not. They just said changes or
Mm,
improvements. I don't even know what that means. To be fair,
mm,
begin
mm,
work on the National Infrastructure Agency. Well, this one they say here they haven't even done it. They said they were going to do it. I mean, that sounds all right. It just depends on again what type of infrastructure are they building? Building nonsense bike lanes and bike tunnels and tram lines in Auckland for some reason. or are they actually building like railways, geothermal power stations, stuff like that, stuff that would actually be important.
Yeah, who
Like
knows?
improving State Highway 1, like that would be a good one, but I don't think that's never going to happen, to be fair. Uh, the Water Services Entities Act, I think this was the Three Waters by a new name, so they got rid of that. So they
Yeah.
repealed it. So
Mm,
yeah, Three Waters was nonsense, a bunch of like
mm.
co-governance crap that wanted to give water rights to the iwis and whatnot. So no,
Have the Iwis control it. Yeah.
yeah, it sounds
What the hell?
sounds pretty bad. Repeal the Spatial Planning and Natural Build Environment Act. So this is to fast track supposedly building consents. Whether that's actually going to happen, we'll see.
Mm, mm,
Uh, Cease the implementation of the significant natural areas, and seek advice on the operation of the areas. So that was to do like environmental regulation. I
mm.
mean, sort of depends on the context. I mean, you don't want to have, you know, coal mines completely destroyed like our national parks and whatnot. I
No.
think a lot of this had to do with the oil drilling off um, Tauranga, where there's a little bit of oil. I don't think New Zealand has that much. Like, there's no proven oil or gas reserves in New Zealand. There's not much, but then they
Mm,
haven't really even really been looking. So there might be,
no.
but
Mm,
like it's literally banned for them to even like prospect for natural gas and oil in the oceans.
Yeah, there probably is. I reckon there's. I mean, Australia
Oh,
has quite.
Australia's got heaps.
Yeah, so I mean, there's bound to be some. There's bound to be something out there, but yeah, as you say, it's stifled because they're not allowed.
All right, we got a couple more chats. Linda says absolute criminal waste and denegation of the best practice that compounds costs. Like usurious carbuncles makes you mad. Exactly. There's a bunch of it's just a lot of nonsense spending in here that luckily is being cut. And Grace Allier just says, "They hurting the soul of the water, bro." Oh, my hands, souls of that water. Oh, his name's Hungamanga. He poured his
Yeah.
ashes down the toilet after he died from eating too much KFC. Oh, he's in the water now.
Oh, my best friend was some Kaimawana, then I ate him, gee. Oh.
All right,
Yeah.
where were we? I thought sort of lost my place.
Yeah. Do
Here.
you want me to read them for you, and you can just comment on them because
Yeah, you
you're
read the next couple, so we're up to
so
23. Yeah.
23. Okay. Take policy decisions to amend the Overseas Amendment Act 2005 to make it easier for build to rent housing to be developed in New Zealand. Hmm.
Does New Zealand even have any build like? Oh wait, no, I'm thinking rent to own, build to rent. So that's making a bunch of shitty houses for
Renters.
migrants,
Yeah,
basically.
for that's what it is, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, we shouldn't even be doing that. We should just like
Mhm.
stop mass migration, and then, believe it or not, the housing crisis, the cost of living crisis will literally just sort itself out because of
Yeah.
market forces. It's just how it
Oh,
works.
oh, we need more people. We need more people to bolster the economy. It's all about the economy, you
About
know.
infinite growth, it's like
Yeah.
literally a giant pyramid scheme that
It's a
apparently
meme.
somehow is never going to end. We just need to keep growing forever, and everything will be fine.
Yeah, it's a complete meme. Even you remember Kerry Bolton's book, The Banking Swindle, and the uh, the other one, The Money Changers. He said that French colonies and numerous other examples throughout history where that you just need to keep basically the money flowing and liquid throughout the economy. And even if you're in wartime and or whatever, you're in a catastrophic period, you can still actually keep your economy afloat. And even in tiny like rural villages and fishing villages in Scotland, it's been shown that it's not strictly necessary that you just flood your country with people. It's not needed. It's really, and that's where you got a lot of these people in the Wignet circles. Like they're like, oh, bro, fuck like all these people coming in. We'll just have communism, bro. So just like no, that's not necessary either. Like none of that, what they suggest or what you suggest, a Wignac communist, none of that is necessary. We can have
You got the
a good
MAGA
economy without.
communists, and now you got the Wignac communists.
Yeah. Oh God, this is the worst idea. But yeah. So I mean, it's yeah. Anyway. So
All right.
it's really not needed. This hyper immigration policy.
Yeah,
Anyway.
absolutely. Linda in
Mm,
chat says she's off to head out. Nice to see you, neighbors. Yeah, thanks for
yeah.
tuning in, Linda.
Thank you. Okay. See you, Linda.
Thanks for tuning in.
Mm,
Where were we?
24.
Yeah, 24.
24. Begin work to enable more houses to be built by implementing the Going for Housing Growth policy and making the medium density residential standards optional for councils. That's a wordy
Again,
one.
just building more like houses for bugmen.
they should just call 24 that repealing houses for bugmen.
Yeah.
So, repealing dog kennels for soy boys. Yeah, but
So yeah, it
yeah,
sort of speaks for itself. Again, the government's trying to legislate or make it easier for councils to greenlight higher density housing for bugmen. So that's literally what it is.
that's all. Yeah, 25. Abolish previous government's prisoner reduction target. Yeah, because we really want to reduce the prison population. Why?
Yeah, reduce the prison population while crime's increasing. It sounds like a good
Yeah.
idea.
That's a great one. I think that speaks for itself. 26. Introduce legislation to ban gang patches, stop gang members gathering in public, and stop known gang offenders from communicating with one another. Yeah.
I mean, you
Yep.
should just ban gang membership altogether. Just do what they did in El Salvador. It seems to work.
Yeah. And these aren't groups that are about, freedom or whatever. These are just
I mean, they're
people. These
criminals
are
and
losers.
degenerates. Who cares
Yeah.
about them? Let's
Who cares?
just ban them from being part of these illegal organizations.
Yeah, exactly. You've got the proof that they're dealing drugs, that they're committing crime, that there's all this abuse of children and spousal abuse and whatever, just you've got all the proof there. You've got it all built up. Just, yeah, come down on them hard, because a lot of people, I guess, of the libertarian or just generally leftist type will say, oh, but then they'll use the kind of free speech argument against you and say, "Oh, but you and your friends, like who like to go out to the arcade and play video games, that could be considered a gang by the government,
Well,
But
it's
it's
like,
like,
well, no, it's not because they don't engage in any criminal activity, organized
oh
criminal
yeah,
activity. It's literally, well, dude, whoa, dude, what if the government calls this a gang? Well, it's like, well,
yeah,
actually, if you don't
yeah,
engage in organized crime, it's not a
mm,
gang. Like, it's not like a hard concept. It's not like some weird esoteric
yeah,
meaning of what
exactly.
a gang is. It's pretty simple, actually.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that speaks for itself, and we all get that. But
Uh,
just some lefties. Yeah. Anyway, the
YHCH says there's a bit more than mass migration. We do need to make building houses easier. That is true. I mean, like I said, there's
yeah.
bureaucratic bloat everywhere, and the
Mm,
councils and the consent process is another form of that. But at the end of the day, they are trying to make it easier to build like apartments for bugmen, which is
mm,
unfortunate, but it is what it is.
mm.
Uh,
Yeah.
so gang patches 27.
6. Oh.
Uh,
Oh, yeah, no, 27, sorry. Give police greater powers to search gang members for firearms and make gang membership an aggravating factor at sentencing.
I mean, it's sort of ridiculous that being a gang member isn't an aggravating factor. Like,
Mm,
what? How is this not
mm,
already a thing? And
mm, mm.
actually, that firearms legislation is sort of sus. Like, again, it's
Mhm.
like warrantless searches. So yeah, it's sort
Yeah.
of a bit retarded. I mean, you
Mm,
shouldn't be, if the police are going to search your house, they should have a warrant,
yeah,
and it shouldn't be
exactly.
that hard to like produce a warrant for a gang member. But yeah, the legislation that the government pushed through is uh pretty sus to say the least.
Mm,
I mean,
mm.
all the police have to say is they suspect you have a gun, and they can just search your house and seize your property.
Yeah,
I mean,
wow. Mm,
you don't need that much of an imagination to see this legislation being used against like, political dissidents, like
exactly.
how
Yeah.
similar legislation is being used in Australia.
Or just yeah, all New Zealanders really. But yeah, it's more oppression. 28. Stop taxpayer funding for Section 27 cultural reports.
Yeah, we covered this on a previous episode. Remember how there was the cultural reports that the courts would come up with when like Hungamunga has to go to court for like bashing his girlfriend. They go, oh, when he was 5, he fell over when he was doing the haka. When he was 10, his uncle Ori smoked too much meth and body slammed him into the wall. When he was 14, he didn't get enough KFC. It's like
Yeah.
just like stuff like that. So it's ridiculous nonsense, and yeah, you don't need them.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, jeez. Yeah, when he was 4, Tussie got his pink teddy bear taken away from him, and that's why he's turned into a serial murderer today, eh? Yeah, yeah, but that's amazing what the government produces sometimes. Really makes you think.
And
Um,
I think the cost of these, because I remember when we read the previous articles, like $500 million a year to write these like
oh
ridiculous
my
like
god.
cultural reports about how like Bunga didn't get enough KFC and that's why he ended up like robbing an old lady.
Imagine what we yeah, just incredible, eh? Like, imagine what we could put that money to. Like, our lives could be so much better off, you know? It's just what are we doing with these people in parliament, man? We need to just get just almost like anybody that can think, to yeah, anyway, that's amazing. That is incredible. Um 29, introduce legislation to extend eligibility to offense-based rehabilitation programs to remand prisoners. Um,
Yeah,
I don't know,
whatever. It's like rehab stuff. I mean, yeah, it's mostly
yeah.
this legislation's like trying to rehab alcoholics and drug addicts. Uh,
Oh, is it?
sort of good
Mm.
luck with that, I guess. I don't think it's gonna
Yeah,
work.
yeah. I'd say just electro collar and like a Minecraft mining pick and go pound rocks.
Yeah, that
It's
sounds about right. Yeah, and then yeah, some stuff like youth offending and military boot camps and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. Again,
mm,
don't know if that's going to work. You should just send, you know, young offenders as they call them, just send them to prison.
yeah.
If like a 14-year-old Hungamunga or whatever his name is, like decides to rob a dairy, you should still just put him in prison for a year. Who cares?
Yeah. Okay. So 31, I think, enable.
Uh,
Oh,
oh yeah, yeah,
oh yeah. 31, enable more virtual participation in court proceedings. Oh, okay. So the public can be more like
yeah.
engaged with how something happens.
So I guess like
Um,
they're going to live stream court proceedings or have them like call inable by a Zoom or something. Like you call into
yeah,
the trial of whatever the next serial
yeah,
killer or something.
yeah. They have
Maybe
like ads for Fortnite and stuff, and like game. What is it? Gamer fuel?
yeah, Game
Gamer
of Fuel,
food?
mate.
Yeah. It's
Mountain Dew and Game of Fuel.
they make like a big like idiocracy sort of event out of it. You know how there's like ads for everything and
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, 32, begin to repeal and replace Part 6 of the Arms Act 1983 relating to clubs and ranges. What's that part?
That was I don't know. It's probably something stupid.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the government hasn't even done anything there, so whatever.
Mm, yeah, no, they're not going to let up on guns. Deliver better public service. Oh, sorry. 33, stop all work on Hipuapua.
Yeah, if you
Okay.
remember this one, this happened about a year or two ago. There was that report that came out about how the government wanted
Oh.
to make sure New Zealand was compliant with the the UN Indigenous Peoples Charter or something. There was this big
Mm.
report written up about how like Maori basically need more money, and that was basically what the report said.
Oh
So
God. Yeah.
yeah, so
That's
like more co-governance and like just giving brown people more money. So how
mm,
about no, good sir?
mm. Yeah, the thing is if they actually cared about brown people getting money, say they would, just cut down the government and reduce taxes and make economic steps to reduce the inflation and actually provide a situation for a strong economy.
Well, I mean
And
that's never going to
then
happen though. We're talking about the National
yeah,
Party, so they're never going to
it's
do
gonna
anything like that.
It'll be a decadal long process if every New Zealander starts voting the right way and understanding politics and what's actually going on the right way. So it's a big ask. You're right. So yeah, that's gonna that's in the works. Hopefully, as long as we can instill this basic stuff into people's minds. But yeah, oh god, it's terrible, ain't it? But yeah, that's never gonna happen anyway, unless unless Endeavour News reaches 6 million subscribers, then yeah,
Yeah, then it'll happen.
yeah,
Promise. And that's a promise.
that's a problem. Okay, 34. Improve security for the health workforce in hospital emergency departments.
Yeah, so
Um,
hiring more orderlies,
yeah.
I guess. I guess that's fine. I mean, yeah. It happens all the time. You go to hospitals and there's like, the brown Maoris that literally ate so much KFC they have to get their limbs removed.
What? Are you
Oh, because of
serious now?
diabetes. Because of no, I'm being
Oh God.
serious. Like this
Yeah.
happens, and then
I
like their
was
whole like
like,
entire tribe comes and visits them at hospital, and they're like, "Oh, this guy called me an N-word," and then they try to get like a fight with like the doctors and stuff. Happens
yeah.
all the time. Happens all the time.
I was there. That exact thing. Actually, it was like a couple of things when I was in hospital, and I was you know, had a problem, and I had to stay over night a few nights, and yeah, like that happened a couple of times actually, where that they'll like throw stuff and like they'll push people over and throw chairs and stuff and throw their pills at people's
yeah,
faces
literally
and
always just like brown people acting like
yeah.
retards, which I guess is just sort of the
Hmm.
default.
Yeah, I would just look. Yeah, well, like, that was my experience, and I would just look from my bed and just go, "Oh, far!" Like, what do I do? You know, it's but yeah. So that actually, I actually kind of agree with that. Um, yeah. So, yep, that's good. 35. Sign a MOU with Waikato University to progress a third medical school. Now, what's this about? A third medical school?
Yeah,
So we don't have
because
enough, or
yeah, I think that's it. Because you got the medical school in Auckland University, the one in Otago. Now they
mm,
want one in Waikato in Hamilton. So
okay,
that's
we
fair
need more.
enough. Yeah.
We need more medics. We need more medically inclined people. That's
Yeah.
for sure. Okay, so 36 by 1st of December 2023, lodge a reservation against adopting amendments to WHO health regulations to allow the government to consider these against a national interest test. So this is quite important.
Yeah, it's an
Um,
important one, but also it's half-assed. Instead of just not adopting the regulations, they go, "Oh, we'll adopt the regulations, but we'll put a little clause in there that maybe we won't follow them in specific cases."
yeah. No, it's not enough. It's never enough. It's goes hand in hand with the COVID inquiry. It's too weak.
Yeah,
We
it's
we
too
actually
weak. You
need.
just need to not adopt the regulations at all.
Yeah. How about that? But no, they're always they just want to give us dog food. These bastards. 37. So that's actually probably the most important one because that very well could cause some extreme problems. That could enslave us all. I'll be right back. Sorry.
Yeah. All right, I'll continue just for myself for a little bit. So the next one is require intermediate and primary schools to teach an hour of reading and writing and maths per day. Makes you think, like, what are even the point of public schools if they're like can not even reach 1 hour of writing and maths a day? It's like what? Before this, they were doing 5 seconds of writing and maths and like 8 hours of just nonsense. 8 hours of talking about how Lee White Man Lee bad and the Browns did nothing wrong. It's like, come on. Public schools are just an absolute joke if you literally have to mandate that they do at least 1 hour of reading and writing and maths. Like, what are the other like 6 hours for? It doesn't make any sense. Again, ban the use of cell phones in school. This is sort of like a boomer one. Sort of like, who really cares about that? Not that important. Appoint an expert to redesign the math and English curricula at primary schools. Again,
Oh,
instead of like actually, oh, you're right.
oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry about that, everybody.
Yeah. So the next one is, I was just talking about how like public schools are a joke. So the,
Mm,
the next one is appoint an expert group to redesign the English and math curriculum for primary schools. Because
uh-oh.
yeah, like I said before,
Yeah.
they're not
What does that
learning
mean?
in primary
Mm.
because well, they go to primary schools and they just get like, oh, remember we have to remember the original ancestors of the land, and the white man was so evil, and they took it and they made the brown people stop eating each other and killing each other. It was so bad, I couldn't believe it. It was worse than the shower. Instead of like actually just like learning basic
Yeah,
skills.
yeah, yeah. Okay, I thought because I thought, obviously there's a lot of like failure rate around brownoids and their
Oh, that is
kids,
too, but
unfortunately,
that's just,
which is tragic.
you can't put no, you can't throw enough money at that. That's never going to fix itself.
Yeah, so I thought that was like redesigning English and math
That actually
for
probably is part of it, to be fair.
Oh, okay, yeah, because yeah, I have like a lot of people I know who are teachers at various levels, primary, university, secondary, and they all say the same thing. They're like, and they're not even like all these teachers. They're not even all white. These people I know, and they're all saying like, yeah,
It's like, yeah,
it's
these
always
brown people are just complete dumbasses.
yeah, yeah, and it's like a really big problem. And they're like, yeah, these schools that they're working to like rezone stuff because it's like we can't handle this level of like not even just like bad grades and stuff what would you call it bottom of the barrel like plummeting grades, but just bad behavior as well, like the crazy shit that goes on, so yeah, it's all across the board. It's
Yeah,
all the same.
I think at the end of the day, like, obviously, do not send your kids to primary school. I mean, uh, public school in
Mm,
general. It's like
mm,
either community
yeah.
homeschool or homeschool your kids. Community school or
Oh,
homeschool your kids is the way to do it.
that sounds good. Community school. I never thought about that, but yeah,
Well, I mean,
that's a
yeah,
good
community
idea.
schools exist where there's like homeschool collectives and stuff like that. They're usually pretty good.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
look, if they do 1 hour of reading, it's literally better than what they do at public schools anyway. From what I've
True.
heard, I mean, from what I've heard from people that do homeschool, because I know some, literally they teach their kids like for about 2 hours, and that's all they need because it's not actually like they're not actually learning that much in school. All they need to do is like learn how to
Mm,
count and
yeah,
and read. And then once they sort of learn how to read, a lot of the time they sort of teach themselves.
yeah.
As long as you
That's
like,
actually better.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think on general, statistically, homeschooled kids are like they're usually more intelligent than their peers that go to public school, have
Mm,
better socialization skills because the whole
yeah.
thing about public schooling is it's a very industrialized, institutionalized way
Yeah.
for children to actually learn instead of, the way that they've learnt for the last 100,000 years, which is just learning off their parents and community,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
natural way that
Exactly.
that humans
Exactly.
learnt through history. So
Yeah.
going back to that, your children are smarter,
Mm,
they have better social skills, and they are more successful in life going on because,
exactly.
you send people to public schools and they come out like complete spastics doing like hakas and whatnot.
Yeah, totally indoctrinated. And I often think myself, would I actually have, because I was quite a sensitive learner myself, and you know, I just didn't like the noise, everything. It was really a very uncomfortable experience. And it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't actually, I actually think I would have learned a lot more, and obviously would have been much less indoctrinated if I just did anything, like just read a book or yeah, educated myself and just let my curiosity take me. And then that would have just transmuted later on in life. And yeah, I can back those, things up that Hector's saying. That's widely known actually, that your kids actually have better social skills and are more intelligent and more just psychologically healthy, so
yeah,
that's and with
yes,
the way that schools are these days, it's like, man, you got to be crazy to send your kids there, just
yeah, I
yeah.
know. I mean, it's
Mm,
literally exists so that both parents can be wage slaves to a corporation, and then you
yeah.
have the state raising your kid in an assembly line. Basically, it's very unnatural.
And that's exactly how it was set up with, you know,
Yeah,
that yeah,
that, that, that,
that was the purpose
it,
of these people. We want them to be ready for the factories, so we'll attune them to the ringing of the bell. Lunchtime's over, get back to work,
yeah,
and
that sort of stuff. Very
yeah,
regimented,
mm,
unnaturally regimented for a child, and
mm,
they're stupider and they have poor social skills, and they're more unhealthy as well. So,
yeah, yeah,
all right,
wow,
where were we? What were we on?
uh,
Oh, this one, right? 40.
yeah. 40. Begin disestablishing T. Pukenga. Whatever
That
that
was
is.
when, remember how Labour wanted to centralize all the tastes because there was like 15 different tertiary schools, and they wanted to
Okay.
like standardize them and centralize them.
Oh, weird.
To be
Okay.
fair, like our tertiary school system is a bit like spastic, but
Mm,
uh, don't know if that would have worked. And they just like Nationals like, nah, we'll just keep it as it is. So
mm,
whatever.
okay. Hmm. Okay. 41. Begin work on delivering better public services and strengthening democracy. Okay.
Whatever that means.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only way you're gonna make better public services is to actually, again, ironically, you need to remove the bloat in the public service, reduce the staff by at least about 30%, and working on actually sort of automating a lot of these processes so it's less labor intensive and
Hmm.
more efficient. Uh,
Yeah.
that's going to be the best way to improve public services.
They have robots that can literally pick fruit now and do it far
Yeah,
better, you
we
know?
don't need Tongans. We don't need to be, this is different. We don't need to be importing Tongans to pick fruit. We don't
Mm.
need a bunch of like HR people to do our
Yeah.
bureaucratic filings for us. We can just get a computer to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah. 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 And as for the strengthening democracy, well, that's just
I don't
a
even know what
song
that
and
means, to
dance
be
that they
fair.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't care about. Yeah. Anyway, 42. Set 5 major targets for health system, including for wait times and cancer treatment. Yeah.
Again, yeah, I mean, there's the wait times are like that because one, we have we have a whole bunch of brown people that literally cannot stop eating KFC, so they clog up our health system with their obesity problems.
Mm,
Number two is also we're importing mass migration, so we import all these like weirdos from India and China, and they got all these massive health issues because they grew up in slums. And
mm.
number
Yeah.
three is yeah, we're not training enough doctors and nurses,
Yeah.
which it seems like they're trying to set up a new medical school. That is actually a good one.
Mm. The cancer treatment can be totally circumvented if we just educate people and say, "Oh, just don't eat sugar, and you'll get rid of and like yeah,
Processed foods and
yeah, take out the
whatnot.
seed oil, the processed foods, yeah, exactly, and just stay away from sugar, and that will stop feeding the cancer." Which is a lot of people don't know about that, but yeah,
This
so
one's pretty sus though. Get
oh.
immunization rates to 95%.
Wow. Yeah, wow. I mean, this is where I wish Peters could have been a bit. Well, we got what we got, and that's good enough. But it's pretty good actually. I feel kind of lucky myself that we got that. But yeah, that's 90%. Oh, sorry, 95% of kids fully vaccinated. Yeah,
By
that's
two. That's sort of a bit.
I have friends. In fact, we both have friends, Hector, where they were completely unvaccinated. They didn't take any vaccines when they were a kid, and they're completely fine. I know like 40-year-olds and 30-year-olds and stuff like that, and there's nothing. They got all the immunization naturally, I suppose, and they're fine. They're all right. And like I think the biggest red pill is like look at the Amish.
Yeah.
Like they're like the healthiest, longest lived. They're so healthy and long lived that they've actually developed a gene through their community. They all have a gene that codes for them being able to live longer than the average person in America. So it's like, and also just on the looking at vaccination rates around the world, like they vary. So it's like, if these vaccines are actually good, shouldn't we all be having around about the same like level of vaccinations, you know? Whereas it's like obviously all around the world it varies so greatly. So there's clearly no consistency there. And if what I'm saying is if oh sorry if cookie dough injections are the be all and end all, surely in every health system it should be around about the amount that you get. But it just shows how subjective this whole thing is. And yeah, maybe we can do a show on that in the
Or
future
Amish
someday.
special.
Yeah, yeah, an Amish special, yeah, quote unquote, yeah, just do what the Amish do. do the opposite of what the Jays do and do exactly what the Amish do. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, that's not all of the whole package, of course. It's a little more complex than that, but it's definitely a good start.
Yeah.
Um, mm,
Yeah, Amish people are, I think, in pretty much every category. I remember reading about this at one point. They're pretty much healthier in every single way,
mm,
despite some genetic diseases because they have a smaller gene pool. So
yeah.
most Amish are slightly inbred, but other than
Mm.
that, other
Yeah,
than that,
yeah.
they're pretty healthy.
Well, that can be solved pretty easily, and they always, I think they go out and then they come back, and yeah, it's that can be remedied, I'm sure. So
Yeah, they just need some new. I mean, that's the thing though. It's nearly impossible for new people to join the Amish order. So
mm,
even if like new blood
the
wanted to
Amish
join,
order.
yeah, you pretty much only can be bought. I think that's what it's called, right? The Amish order, or is it not?
Is that right? Okay,
I
I
don't know.
thought you were memeing. Okay, the Amish order. So you have to be born to
Yeah,
be
they
part of.
they rarely let outsiders in, so that's why there is some
Oh,
issues with basically starting from a small gene pool of about 400 Swiss migrants that
wow.
all like half a quarter of a million Irish people have the same 400 ancestors.
No,
So there
wow.
are some issues there, but
Yeah.
other than that, they have lower cancer rates and like asthma rates and uh,
Mm.
stuff like that.
Well, it's amazing that they have such a small gene pool. No doubt there have been here and there have been introductions of fresh genes here and there throughout their existence from whenever they were established. Um, but even in spite of that, where you'd consider that to be a problem, as you say, they're healthy on every metric. So they're actually healthier than the average person.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
is, which is really saying something, isn't it? And again, that's a big nail in the coffin for the idea that cookie dough injections are somehow good for you. I mean, yeah. Anyway. I don't want to. Yeah, seek. I'll say this: seek professional advice, seek professional medical advice, and do your own research at the same time. That's all I'll say. If you're interested in this stuff, and don't just take it from two random guys from the internet. It's
All right.
do your own
Where were
research.
we at? We sort of went off topic again.
We were at the immunization
Oh
rates
yeah,
of
so
yeah. Yeah, so okay, 43 introduced legislation to disestablish the Maori Health Authority. Gee.
oh,
Yeah.
no.
Free KFC for all my bros. That's the Maori Health Authority,
I mean, it would be
literally.
sort of cool if like Maoris just went to their own like hospitals, but that's not what it means. It
Oh,
just
yeah.
means you had like the Maori hospitals that like filled up with all the like overweight browns that literally ate themselves to death. Then you have like the nice white people hospital. Just get to like chill out. It's nice and calm, relaxing. You don't have the cuzzies in the corner like for having a fit over not being able to bring in their bucket of KFC into the emergency room. Like stuff like this happens every day. It's ridiculous. But anyways,
Yeah. Yeah, too true. So yeah, that's a big one, and yeah, we'll keep our eyes on that. 44 takes steps to extend free breast cancer screening to those aged up to 74. And back to the woman, they just have those Stanley cups and they're sucking down, 4-liter jugs of pure sugar with
yeah,
like a bit of chocolate seasoning or grape or cherry seasoning or whatever. So I mean, again, it's just kind of like, you know,
yeah, don't eat that.
get with yeah, don't do that. I mean, women are. I mean, you get a lot of fat men, obviously, but women are just turning into these. Okay, I don't want to. I think you will get the idea, but yeah, it's a real
I
problem.
think statistically, what was it in the Western world? New Zealand has some of the like most overweight women. A lot of that's because a lot of them are like brown, but
Yeah.
it is still a fact here.
Yeah, terrible. 45, repeal amendments to the Smoke-Free Environments and Regulated Products Act, 1990, and regulations. So, um,
Yeah, so that's repeal the smoke-free stuff. That was all nonsense anyway.
okay, yeah, I think that's kind of, Yeah, I think actually people should be smoking more cigarettes, to be honest. Okay, 46. Allow the sale of cold medication containing pseudoepinephrine.
So
Oh,
that's like a precursor for like Maori's cooking up meth.
okay.
So they're gonna let pharmacies sell it again because I don't know. I mean, probably means more pharmacies are gonna get ram raided, really. So I don't know what's gonna happen with that.
Yeah. All right, I see. Okay. 47. Begin work to repeal the Therapeutics Products Act 2023. Okay. Do you know what that is? So,
They banned stuff like homeopathy,
oh,
and stuff like
that.
that. Yeah, remember
I
when they did
remember
that?
that. Yeah.
So
That's
the
amazing. Yeah, sorry, bro. Go ahead.
so they're repealing that ban.
Yeah, fuck that. All these, and it's amazing reading through this. I'm remembering all the stuff and going, God, these people are just insane. Like we really just have to engage in a lifelong crusade against these people who just want to govern every aspect of our lives. It kind of almost brings out the libertarian in you, the right wing one. But yeah, it's like I mean, because that's just so insane. You should be able to, and it's well known that a lot of plants and herbs actually work better than some of the
Yeah. I mean,
but
a
yeah,
lot of
things they.
homeopathy is literally just like made up stuff by like hippies, but a lot of it is actually true.
Oh yeah, it's definitely real, and there's definitely a science behind it. And heck, if you just eat well, that is like the most basic homeopathy. A variety of vegetables and fruits and herbs and spices, and you know, non-processed. That's homeopathy in itself, in a way. So it's like, how far does that really extend? Because I mean, there are various herbs that you cook with that could be used in homeopathy. So it's
Yeah.
all just it's insane. It's
Uh,
that was when I got really pissed off at.
yeah.
But
When GAA in chat said, "Wait, they banned homeopathy," they didn't ban it. It was meant to be banned in about 2025, sort of like smoking, but the
mm,
national repealed the ban. So the
uh,
intended ban that was meant to come in. So it never was banned. It was planned to be banned.
mm,
But National sort of overturned that. I
interesting.
think it was actually New Zealand first that pushed for that one as part of their coalition agreement.
Yeah, I mean, if something works, then and it is helping you and it heals you, then yeah, do it. 48. Establish a priority one category on the social housing wait list to move families out of emergency housing into permanent homes more quickly. And this is another immigrant one, is it,
Yeah,
Hector?
so I mean, if housing was actually affordable, you wouldn't have so much people on the emergency housing list. So
Mm,
uh,
mm.
just the way it is.
Yeah, that causes all kinds of problems, I bet, with housing and New Zealanders not actually being able to get houses. Okay, 49. Commission on independent review into Kainga Ora's financial situation, procurement, and asset management. Okay,
I don't even know what that is.
yeah, financial situation. Oh, Housing New Zealand.
Oh,
That's the Maori
I'm glad they're
thing.
bringing back the English name for this nonsense because, like, what even are these things? Like I
Yeah.
said, I think last time, Maori's just New Zealand's version of gay Latin.
Yeah, yeah, that's so true. Yeah, and they think they're so erudite and so superior to everybody else
Yeah,
that they can say a few Maori words. That's so dumb. But
yeah,
okay, isn't that funny that they switched their name to that and now they are yeah. Oh, what about the financial situation, procurement of that money and asset management? It's kind of fitting that
yeah.
when they change it to that, oh, what are you doing with your money? You're not spending it on KFC procurement. But
They
yeah,
probably
so
are, to be
that's
fair.
to
But I
be
think
fair.
that's the last one on the list, and then you've got a bunch of leftists just seething. Like,
Yeah.
so to get an above average grade, they just had to do what they said to do independently, or whether those were sensible things to do. I hope my students don't see this. How
Yeah.
bizarre you're giving them good marks to this most angry, desperate, and out of touch government in history.
Isn't that amazing? These people are just mental slaves. They're just, no, you need the government to tell you that your kid is smart. It's just amazing. They're just soldiers for the establishment. Yeah, incredible how these people think. Um, what else do we have here,
Ah, that's
Hector?
it.
Kind of a brainwashed masses.
That's all the 100 point, no, not 100 point, 100-day changes of the government. What are your
Mm.
thoughts? Is it
To be
positive,
honest,
negative?
yeah. I mean, to be honest, like it's not really that. Of course, being me, I'm a stickler for quality and for real things. As a lot of sorry, New Zealanders are. A
Americans.
lot of America. Yeah, I don't know
You
about
right
that.
there, buddy?
Yeah, a lot of New Zealanders are. I get them confused because they're very similar. But yeah, and yeah, so I'm a stickler for quality, and it's really this isn't really that good. Like a lot of this stuff I feel is obligatory. A lot of this stuff we shouldn't have. We need to get to work on the things that actually need to be changed, and to actually have a well functioning country. And you could say this is a step in the right direction, but boy, if this is the I guess the caliber of stuff we're dealing with, man, it has a long way to go. So it's just like, yeah, it's good to see that a lot of this stuff was in response to, well, yeah, people responded to all this stuff, and as such, National repealed it with the urging of Peters. But yeah, it needs to go way beyond this, and I'm going to keep saying that, because a lot of New Zealanders, I still feel are too fat and happy, and you know, it's not just about casting your vote at the end of the day. It's about
Yeah,
sending a
absolutely.
message. Yeah. What
Uh,
about you, Hector?
I mean, there's some good stuff in there. I think the best stuff in there is, yeah, the de-bloat and cost-cutting measures of just nonsense projects that the government was funding. There's a
Mm,
lot of cutting there. You can sort of thank the ACT Party for that. It does
mm,
need to go further. Instead of a 6% reduction in public spending, it should be like a 30%, at least 30 to 50%
mm,
reduction in public spending is probably a better amount.
mm, mm.
Yeah, there is just like some like nonsense stuff in there, stuff that doesn't really mean much.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's nothing too important. Like, there's nothing that's actually really going to,
Mm,
improve the cost of living, for example, for the average New Zealand.
yeah.
There's no cuts to mass migration. There's no
Mm,
meaningful like tax cuts or tax relief in there. So the main
yeah.
issues for 99% of the population are going to stay the same.
Yeah.
They did get rid of some bloat, but it needs to go a lot further.
Well, yeah, and I mean, also like a lot of the stuff we're still dealing with. Like you mentioned that, yeah, a lot of the stuff was repealed, but actually, it's going to be rear its ugly head again in 2027 or
Yeah.
2025. So it's just like a long national. All national is under Luxon is a longer way to Labor's policy. We're just taking a longer time to get
Oh,
there, and then
yeah.
especially with again these staple most basic sort of policies such as the immigration that National refuses to even mention, with the one being the most important one, immigration right now. If they continue to flood us with migrants from wherever, I mean, you can expect, again, a fast track actually to Labor's policies. The more, because we all know how they vote once they're naturalized and once they become citizens. So yeah, this is the thing. So it's not good enough. It's not going to be good enough in the future as well. And we're going to be in this constant tug of war with these people because this is labor. This is literally labor light. They're just a slower track to labor and Green's progress.
Yeah, I mean, especially I mean, that one was ridiculous of the fuel tax. Oh, we repealed Labor's fuel tax increase, but we're going to bring in our own
Mm,
3 years after they were planning to do it. It's like, come on, dude.
mm,
You should
mm,
be cutting fuel tax, not increasing fuel tax.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's the 100 days. I think we covered that enough.
Mm,
Just some other stuff.
mm, mm.
Let's get to the next topic, which is there we go, the continued collapse of the Green Party. So Golres's reign of terror has finally been put to an end. Well, I mean, not quite. She pled guilty. I doubt much is going to happen because apparently she actually like knows the judge. Like when she was a lawyer, she used to work with the same judge that just sentenced her. It's a massive conflict of interest. I don't know how this was even allowed to happen, but the judge is probably just going to not even give her any punishment. But she did plead guilty. They're just going to, I bet you they're just going to throw the charges out the window as
Yeah.
actual sentencing. So it is what it is. Yeah, she's in jail, in in court, and there's some like weird like Maori guy.
What's he?
flashing,
Check out my fidget spinner, G.
yeah,
It's like
shining
Tussy, get
lights
out
at
of here.
people.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a fidget spinner, and jeez, he just
No, it's actually sort of ridiculous. The like brown Maori guys trying to shine
hmm,
light into people's cameras so they can't take any photos, which is
it's broad daylight.
yeah, it's sort of ridiculous. It didn't even work, obviously.
Yeah,
But yeah, so
that's
she
a bit
pled
of a fact.
guilty. The reign of terror is over, but I doubt she's actually going to get sentenced and face any meaningful punishment. But I mean, she's
Mm,
brown. She can't be responsible for her own actions. Remember, it was the white man made her do it.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, this is isn't it amazing how she can get away with this? So I mean, wow, how much does she have to pay?
Well, she stole, I think in total about 10 grand she got charged with stealing. I think it said at the start of the article, nearly $9,000 worth of goods.
Holy
So it's not a
shit!
small amount. Like it's four charges of shoplifting,
Yeah.
$9,000. It's like people have like got sent to prison for like a year for stealing that much worth of goods from like
Mm.
Pack and Save or the
Yeah.
warehouse. Uh,
Yeah.
it, it, but she won't face any meaningful punishment.
Mm. Yeah. Well, what is it saying here that she has to do? She has to. Okay, so she admits it.
She's
Yeah.
appearing for sentencing in June, so 2 months away.
Mm. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Should we watch the video or not?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. There she is.
You look at the Maori guy trying to shine the light into people's
Doesn't do
cameras.
anything.
Yeah, it doesn't even work.
He's in Nikes and a beanie. Wow. Oh yeah, Garaman admitted to 4 shoplifting charges over allegations she stole about $10,000 worth of goods.
Seems like a local.
The judge did not enter a conviction for any charges. State people of Garaman.
So guys,
That little light is like not going to do anything. It's not even funny that these things are doing that at all.
Okay, well that's good.
Well,
Yeah,
there's
I
that.
mean,
Yeah. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think she's going to face any meaningful repercussions for her actions?
oh, she won't. She won't. You know, she's a bit of a meme hero, but that's the best I can say about her. But, but yeah, no, she's not gonna. The, she can't do anything wrong, and the establishment is backing her up. So, nah, of course not. Of course not. What about you? What do you think?
Oh no, she's not. The judge, she knows the judge literally. So the
Oh,
judge is going to be like, "Oh, you're my best bud. I'm going to defer all the charges, and they're not even going to show up in your criminal record. Maybe you'll have to pay like a small amount of remittance to the people you stole from. It'll be like $100.
mm, yeah. Well, there you go. There you go. So, yeah, I think we all kind of knew how
Yeah.
that's. Yeah,
All
but
right.
then we got this.
Yeah, we got another like more brown Green Party MPs breaking the law. So you've got Darlene Tana
Hmm.
was exploiting migrants. So it makes sense why the Green Party is always like pushing for mass migration because their MPs are literally profiting from it. They
Mm,
had her and her husband had a bike rental company and they hired a Argentinian migrant, didn't pay them any holiday pay and wages, and now they're in a dispute with the migrant that they imported to rent out bicycles. It's like, wow, dude, really skilled people we're importing to work in our country. We imported a bike salesman because apparently there's just no one in New Zealand that can do this job. Like we had to
yeah.
import an Argentinian to do it.
No teenager. No.
Then no one. It's impossible.
Yeah.
You can't find bike rental salesmen anywhere in New Zealand. It's a skill shortage, mate. That's why we need Pajeets and Browns and Mexicans to come in and do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty atrocious, and not paying them.
Then you don't
Not
even
pay-
pay them. So
yeah. I mean, yeah. Sounds like they're kind of about everything they rail against. Kind of similar to a lot of leftists across the board, where they don't practice what they preach.
well, I mean, they preach mass migration, so I think it sort of consistently makes sense. I mean, this is what
Mm,
Green Party votes for. This is what Green voters vote for.
true. True. And then
So
they get all the cuts for themselves. the not paying holiday wages, so
Yeah,
they
I
can
mean,
make a bit
obviously
of
you can't
extra.
do that with a local worker because they can just go to the, disputes tribunal and get it paid out. I mean, it's pretty easy.
Mm,
But yeah, with like some Argentinian migrant that's here on like a temporary visa, yeah, that's
mm,
how they get
mm,
away with it. The businesses get away. They import these migrants, don't even pay them, and then the whole country has to house and feed and
mm, mm,
provide infrastructure for these slave workers, basically, that undercut the local white worker.
yeah, yeah,
Greatest Ally
ridiculous.
Israel says, I'm sorry, bike rentals real tough, okay? Yeah, no New Zealanders can do bike rentals in the entire country. It's impossible. It's one of the most acute skill shortages in New Zealand. We need more bike rental salesmen, okay?
mm. Yeah, so they're really taking some big L's here. I mean, this it's just like one after the other. Like this is I
And
mean,
the,
thank you God for delivering this to us, but
and here's the
yeah.
thing as well. The Green Party was notified on February 1st, so 6 weeks ago, and we're just hearing about it now because they tried to cover it up.
Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, yeah. There you
So yeah,
go.
just maybe does that like coincide when James Shaw resigned? Like, when did he resign? When did he announce his resignation?
It was last year
Was
sometime,
it
wasn't
last
it?
year or
When
was it? Okay,
oh,
maybe.
last week was it? Oh, okay,
I
excuse
think
me.
he resigned this week, but I think he announced it a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, so it's been just like a string of events, which
Just trying to find out when he actually announced that. 'Cause I wonder if
mm,
that lines up with this.
mm, mm,
Um, I don't know. I can't find it. But
yeah. The Green Party has long campaigned to ensure everyone who wants to make their home here is treated with fairness and compassion.
oh, they don't believe that. Like I said, they just like most of these leftists just want brown labor that they can easily control to undercut
Mm.
the like local white worker.
Yeah, in a way, it's kind of like, well, how are they different than ACT, and how is ACT fundamentally different than Greens, really? Especially in this current time we find ourselves in, where immigration is a real problem,
Well, that's the thing.
along with the housing.
With
Yeah.
Greens and ACT on the issue of mass migration, they just 100% agree. They both want open borders, and so does like the National Party and Labour.
Mm,
And
mm.
New Zealand First maybe doesn't, but they never really seem to act on it.
No, no, didn't say anything about it either. So yeah, if New Zealand's gonna survive, we really have to push that very issue like hard. We need a, maybe RCR or VFF can do something,
Yeah, you would
or
hope
someone.
so, but
Yeah.
it was actually ridiculous that last election. Migration wasn't like mentioned by any of the parties, wasn't mentioned by the media. It was pretty much just swept under the rug, despite it being like the main issue driving up the cost of living.
Yeah, and another thing is you don't hear, like, it's how silly it is, like Mari are not talking about this, like
Oh, they're too
we're.
busy like complaining about the white man not giving them enough KFC. That's literally it.
Yeah, it's like you think, though, all these people, they really care about their land, and they care, this country is special to them, so they care about who comes in, right? And they care about their side of the aisle, what they're getting and how they're benefiting. But it's like I never hear about the immigration from that group of people. It's yeah, I don't know what goes through their heads,
Well,
but
what goes through their heads is like, white man needs to give me more money. That's it.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, I literally think that's it. Yeah, more recognition, more money, more entitlements.
Yeah.
And without even thinking about the immigration situation at all. So it's like, do they really? I wonder how much they really actually care about New Zealand. It does make you kind of think a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, but just based on that, probably not much. They treat it as much as a business as Seymour does, and as the Greens, Tana, Darlene, as much as
Yeah.
she does, and her husband. It's just a business. So yeah, all this stuff about, the spiritual water of my bro being a crayfish, and I fished him and ate him with some KFC. It's like, yeah, sure. Sure, that's it. It's all just a song and a dance by these people who want to look like they're somehow good by opening our borders, and whatever else. But anyway,
All right, so yeah, I mean, here's some stuff about Schwarbrick.
Mm,
She's the new co-leader of the Greens, which is sort of funny.
mm, mm.
Should
Yeah.
we watch this video?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Like, oh, so,
No.
Of
oh
course,
wait,
people
for
always
some
have the
reason it
right
was
for a
just, oh wait,
peaceful
hold on.
protest, but what we saw were people throwing items at her, throwing liquids at a
Need to fix OBS. Give me a sec.
That's all
I
right.
messed it up.
We'll just pause on Willis for a little bit. And,
There we go.
but yeah, but that's true. She
All right,
like they're throwing liquid bottles at old ladies. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
here we go.
Of course, people always have the right for a peaceful protest, but what we saw were people
What are
throwing
they talking about? Are they
items
talking about the
at her,
tranny protest or
throwing
something?
liquids
they
at
are.
a speaker who was wanting
just
the
free
ability
speech in
to
general.
freely speak. I do not want our society to become a divided society where we resort to physical aggression to suppress people's individual opinions. That is not a society I want New Zealand to be. We should be a peaceful society that allows people to hold a range of different views, where we can openly debate and use reason and logic to come to analysis of ideas, rather than physical acts of aggression and intimidation.
I'm sorry, I'm just not going to let that cringy revisionist history stand.
That's actually the thing that
thousands of Aucklanders who turned up to showcase that trans rights are human rights, then you will see thousands of people who had an experience.
It's revisionist
of
because
a
it
peaceful
doesn't
protest.
fit the narrative. Don't you know that, buddy?
Guess
Even
so.
though literally, like, one of them got charged with assault like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I am really proud of the fact that Aucklanders, that New Zealanders showed up in their thousands to utilise their free speech to showcase that we will not tolerate intolerance.
Were you disappointed though to see some of the incidents, like someone pouring?
Of course, and to that effect, Matty, I'd say that in engaging with the organisers, they made a concerted and dogged effort to pull out of the way and to de-escalate situations that they did not condone the behaviour of. Just
ridiculous, isn't it?
What you're talking about there is somebody who came to this country as an asylum seeker, as somebody who had been persecuted in their country as an intersex trans woman,
like a
by
tranny
virtue
Jew,
of
by the
who
way.
she
It's like a
is,
tranny Mexican
who came
Jew.
to this
You can't
place
even make
because
it
it
up.
was a safe country. She has had the direct experience of the kind of rhetoric that we are talking about escalating into violence. I think it's really important that we address that actually what did play out on the weekend was that marketplace of ideas.
Because bad things happen when good people stand idly by.
That was it's a real good advertisement for how mentally stable gay people are, right?
Yeah.
Where they're all just in a morass of just punching and shoving and beating people up and throwing stuff at each, and they're all like that, by the way. It's I've had the misfortune of, talking to a couple, and they're all of this really
Like, they literally don't live in reality. They live in their own, like, bizarre or schizophrenic reality.
They do.
Nothing is real, and everything's a social construct, and reality doesn't actually exist.
Yeah, and that kind of transmutes itself to their manners. Like they're some of the rudest people you'll ever meet. Most of them,
they're usually narcissistic. They're rude.
Real bitchy,
no empathy. Bitchy, unpleasant.
And they come off as really very unsettling. Like even the way that they move, it's like it's strange. It's like they move like a crack addict or something. I don't know what that is, but I don't know if you listening to this kind of know what I'm talking about. But the way that they behave is very strange. Clearly mentally ill. But even that photo of her posing with them in that cardboard cutout square, that's
closed it.
That's
you
all good.
You saw it, guys.
It's just the height of that really showcases mental stability right there. So
Well, it's like it's literally a schizophrenic tranny Jew is the one that threw the tomato paste or whatever it was on what's her name.
Paul Posey.
Yeah, that's her stage name. I don't remember her real name though. But her, because she wanted to give a speech about like how women are women or something. Like she's like a feminist too. She's like a cringe libtard feminist, and it is sort of interesting how like trannydom and like this like like true nonsense has completely eclipsed like any form of feminism now that like now women aren't even women according to like
Yeah,
troons and like trannies. It's sort of funny. It is
it's
sort of
kind of
funny, but it
the
is sort of ridiculous at the same time.
it's kind of I kind of do find it very funny, and I kind of like it in a way because it's like all this bullshit. Like we're coming up to the Gamergate topic, right? And it's sort of like, well, this is sort of the natural evolution of things, isn't it? If you say that men and women, there's no difference practically, is what a lot of these feminists are saying, that they have the same brains, they have the same like body physical capabilities, and as such they can enter into any job field that a man can. So therefore, you're saying that the roles and responsibilities are the same and they're interchangeable. Then, well, the natural evolution to that is, well, a man can be a woman and a woman can be a man, which
Yeah,
is totally insane. And I mean that and that equivalence that the feminists make up, that I'm just as strong as a man, I can just be as independent as a man, that's
yeah. One
batshit
led to the
crazy as
other.
well.
One led
Yeah,
to the other, and these like feminists somehow don't see how like liberalism led to more liberalism. Like
yeah, yeah.
it's a pretty simple concept, but some people
Mm.
somehow don't pick up on it.
It's not even that much of a leap actually when you think about it. It's not much of a bridge to cross, but you're right. Yeah, they don't see it. It's just a femoid thing, I guess. They don't see these things. But yeah, I mean, I'm that's why I'm in favor of
That's why I'm
burkas
in
and
favor of Gamergate too. Right?
yeah,
So that brings us
yeah.
to our next topic, because we've covered the New Zealand stuff. We're going to get on to Gamergate 2.0, buddy. We're back.
Let's
Gamers
do
are
it.
finally rising up. It took long enough.
Gamers rise up. Yeah.
Hey, we should have followed Sargon of Akkad's 10-year plan, because now we're right here, nearly on the Gamergate, the original Gamergate's 10-year anniversary. We're back,
Mm,
and we're better than ever. All right.
all right.
So for those who don't know, which might be a lot of people watching, because we're not like we usually don't cover gaming on our channel, but
Mm,
basically there is this guy Cabrutus. He ran a Steam curator page, right, where he kept track of games that were involved, that had the company Sweet Baby involved in their development. Sweet Baby is a literal like diversity and inclusion consultancy, a
mm,
writing contractor.
mm.
So they try and make like they want to add like black characters to literally God of War Ragnarok for some reason. They have like some weird Africans in there, like playing
Yeah.
basketball. They've got they wrote the dialogue for that what was it, Suicide Squad game that came out,
Oh
and
yeah.
apparently it was total crap. I think that's sort of what started it. And they've done other stuff. They just worked with all these like other indie developers making like
Mm,
really cringy Reddit tier game. It's like imagine if
mm,
Reddit started at a consulting company. That's sort of what
mm.
you got. But
Yeah.
this guy Cabrutus, he's like a Brazilian guy. He's sort of like a brown Sargon, I guess. He started the curator page where he kept track of all the like games that the Sweet Baby was involved in, and this Kindred guy, which is yeah, he's literally a guy. He's a troon. He's a tranny.
Oh, okay.
Said they were going to try report his Steam account and whatnot, but then he complained that people started reporting him after he said that he wanted people to report this guy's Steam account. So then he had a big cry, even though it's literally a taste of his own medicine. Sort of
Mm,
ridiculous.
mm,
I've got some stuff here. Here's another employee at Sweet Baby, goes by Felix. Twitter
mm.
name Lego Butts. So yeah, great name there. Talking about how you need to shoot down white male leads, ideas.
Oh, are you sharing the screen?
Oh, sorry, I'm not sharing the
Yeah.
tab. There you go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is Lego Butts, another employee at Sweet
Oh
Baby,
wow.
and how they get grossed out by straight white rich people or something.
Yeah.
I had a nightmare they were a white male gamer.
How do you get grossed? That's like the most normal thing is watching two straight people kiss. Okay, sorry. Go. Yeah.
He had a thought about white person being ripped open, a photo of a white person being ripped open.
What?
Really weird stuff going on
What?
here.
I had a nightmare that I was a white male gamer.
I know,
Yeah,
terrible nightmare, buddy.
Yeah. um. yeah, so this is something that this woman is this who
That's a man. That's a troon.
Oh, it is. Oh my god. Okay. The way, and what did he say? He said the way we look at demographics is that we go, okay, the majority of our player base is, let's say, a white male, so we're gonna make stuff for white males. But if you look from the perspective of an Asian trans woman, then it will work for people. People crave news stories. If you want to, people actually don't. Like every great
Yeah, I
movie, it's
really
like,
don't want to hear about the Asian tranny stories, to be fair. I'd rather not hear about that.
yeah. But that's actually not true. Like every great movie, it's a white man who can do something really good. Like he's the best at driving cars, or he's a
Yeah.
great fighter, or he's like a great criminal, well, like a good a skilled criminal or something,
Yeah,
or
like
he's
Ocean's
great at
11 or
business.
something. Like,
Yeah, or like Drive,
I
you
mean,
know,
people
it's
didn't watch Ocean's 11 for like the skinny Asian dude that could put himself into a box. They watched it for like George Clooney or whoever the hell the main lead was on that.
yeah. Well, but it's like all of them. So it's all just yeah, nonsense. You know what else? Yeah. So we don't want them. We don't want troons or
Yeah, I'd rather
really.
not hear about like Asian tranny stories in my. And this
Yeah.
is a pretty famous one where the co-founder of Sweet Babies talks about their marketing and sales tactics
Oh, here
when
we
dealing
go.
with game development companies.
If you're a creative working in AAA, which I did for many, many years, put this stuff up to your higher ups. And if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
Yeah, about terrifying game developers into including like black tranny stories. It's pretty cringe, bro. It's pretty cringe.
That's exactly how Marxists operate. It's not on, I give you something
Popularity or
good.
popular vote or any sort
Yeah,
of logic. It's about fear.
yeah, it's intimidation, fear, manipulation tactics, deception, not on mutual benefit and mutual respect. But yeah, it's crazy.
So
So yeah, this woman here had something
Elisa Mercant, writer for
ah,
Kotaku. So going back to Gamergate 1, Kotaku was the I guess you'd say news source that was constantly defaming Sargon and running cover for like Zoe Quinn and Anita Sarkeesian. So now with Gamergate 2, Kotaku's filled in the same role again, talking
mm,
about how it's actually a good thing that these companies exist and are trying to force like diversity, gay,
jeez.
silly nonsense into games that no one wants.
No. Where was the market for this? It literally did not exist at all. It's that the market exists with these few weirdos that are like troons, and that's like what, like 5 people in the gaming industry, maybe. Uh, it's so crazy. Okay, so
I
yeah,
mean, we could look at the article, but I mean, it's pretty like standard. It's like,
yeah,
no,
on her,
this.
yeah. Oh, sorry, yeah, no,
So in the article, it's like, no, this is not causing wokeness in games. It's happening naturally.
yeah.
And it's like, well, if it's happening supposedly naturally, why do they even need? Why does like Sweet Baby or whatever need to even exist in the first place?
Yeah, it's all, yeah. These people will just say anything just to try and Iron Man their arguments or whatever. It's just, yeah. Is it not the largest narrative design company in games
And this is
industry?
just a straight up lie. Sorry. Oh,
Yeah.
So where it
No,
goes
no.
here, they discovered the scheme group and they encourage people to avoid the group. But it's like that's not what happened. What happened was the co-founder of the company told people to report this guy's Steam account, get it banned, for like reporting on what games Sweet Baby had worked on. So they don't even talk about that.
Mm, mm. But why is that even? Why is that even a big deal? Like, is that?
Well, I don't know. Well, it sort of isn't. It's like it's literally just a list. Is it for some reason in this person's mind the Bel Air tranny or whatever their name is?
Yeah.
Someone writing a list that has their games in it is somehow like a massive. It's like worse than a shower because someone wrote a
Mm.
list. of some things that happened.
That's so typical of a certain people, isn't it?
Just like documenting things that happened is like worse than the shower. So they wanted to get the Steam group taken down and the guy's Steam account banned, and then Kotaku pretty much instantly starts running cover, just like in Gamergate 1. It all comes back to Sargon.
Here we go. We haven't rid ourselves of these. More like Alyssa Merchant.
I sort of thought that as well.
Yeah. But it's another thing that's kind of like, the whole boomer stone toss meme of, I just want to grill, but in terms of
people
video
aren't going to
games,
let you grill. They're never going to leave you alone. Like,
it's the same thing. Like, this is kind of why everything has become about politics nowadays. You're not going to be able to enjoy anything anymore because of this kind of crap. So
that's the same writer again that's been quoting saying white people need to get their ass beat on the regular. So like pure like anti-white hatred this person holds. It's sort of ridiculous.
She had on her Twitter banner, she had like a massive anti-white thing as well. It was I can't remember what it was. She changed it because she's probably getting too much hate or whatever. But she had some anti-white thing like, oh yes, I'm anti-white and blah. Yeah, it was something really stupid. But she's
it's like they literally
taken it down.
They don't hide it usually. They're usually quite open. But it's like people like this should be bullied, to be fair. Like you always get articles, that was like with Gamergate 1, it's like, oh, they're bullying all these journalists. It's like, well, people like this should be bullied, not gonna lie.
Yeah. Oh, they all should. Yeah. And they're the biggest bully themselves. When you heard that Troon before, she was saying, oh, you should threaten them.
Yeah, I know. Literally. Yeah. So this is actually the post that started it all. So Chris Kindred, the Troon co-founder, goes, "This Steam curator harassment group, Sweet Baby Inc. detected, is led by this person." How do you pronounce that? Karabu or something?
Cabrutus.
Cabrutus. Yeah. Here's them trying to be slick so they don't get reported. Even the discriminatory language filed off. The group itself still fails the code of conduct. Report the frick out of this group and report the content creator since he loves his account so much. They literally want this guy like banned from Steam, like no access to his games he paid for because he wrote a list. Wrote a list. Like you'd think if these people knew they weren't being subversive, wouldn't that be like a badge of honor to have like a list of credits of the games you've worked on? Because they know they're like subversive parasites. They don't want to be found out.
Yeah, they know people will react badly to this and go, "Yeah, I don't want to buy a tranny game. I just want a game. I just want to have a good game." I think that's why that Helldivers is doing so well because it's just it's what people want.
Yeah, it's just a simple game with and you don't need to be hearing about the gay Asian stories or whatever it was.
Yeah, no communist,
no commies, no troons. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, sounds like a good game. Yeah, so yeah, that's amazing. Really, which is how these people always are. They're always just a bunch of cowards, and yeah.
Well, I think that's actually all my links. So that's the overview of Gamergate 2. There's some more stuff there. If you look into the company that has started Sweet Baby or funded it, it's one called like Weird Ghosts, and it's run by the sister of the indie game developer that killed himself after Zoe Quinn accused this guy of like abusing her with no proof.
Right.
So this guy's literal blood money is going into funding these like woke nonsense diversity Troon outfits. It's sort of crazy when you look into it. Just follow the money. It's actually insane. Like we don't have time for the like go over all of this because I'll need to pull up like 100 documents. But follow the money, and it literally comes from this like guy that killed himself because Zoe Quinn accused him of sexual abuse. Really, it's nuts.
Yeah. Oh, that's terrible. That's disgusting, man. That's horrible. Yeah. So I mean, this is kind of the connections that they form.
Yeah, all these people know each other. Like all these people know each other. Like it's Chris Kindred, Troon has been on like panels with Anita Sarkeesian and Zoe Quinn, so they're all in the same circles anyway. So Gamergate 2 is actually just sort of Gamergate 1.
Yeah, yeah, it's just a continuation of. I think. Do you think the truenization of video games has been getting worse? It seems like it, right?
Yeah, it's been getting worse. I mean, it's been happening for a while. I mean, just because most troons tend to be like white men anyway, so they usually are like pretty good programmers.
Hmm.
So just by like the fact of that, you've got like troons programming games, and then you've got these like woke HR departments and companies like Sweet
Right.
Baby that literally threaten anyone. It goes, maybe we don't actually need like troons talking about their gay Asian stories.
Mm.
So it is getting worse, but it's good that people are sort of waking up to it.
Yeah, it's too much, you know. It's yeah, nobody again, just like nobody wants this. This is nobody relates to this. This isn't cool, and they know it, but
Yeah, I
they
mean, yeah,
want to.
when has a man in a dress ever been cool? Like, it's never cool, never was cool, and never is going to be cool.
Yeah, yeah, but they know that this isn't, on some level they understand that this is unpopular, and they want to continue working in the shadows to continue putting this troon stuff in video games to, I guess, reprogram the minds of young gamers or something, which is why they kvetched and flipped out when this was exposed by this Steam user.
Yeah,
So it's like they and this is what they're trying to do. They know there are all these, you know, white men who, you know, are kind of they don't they're very selective about, you know, what appeals to them, because, you know, it's previously a lot of TV did kind of cater to them, but now not so much, right? So they're kind of going more and more to places like, I guess, I don't know, 4chan, the new X video games. So they're just chasing them down wherever, really, and there's no respite from it all. So that you know, this is a never-ending thing, and it's like we all have to get political to some degree, because this stuff, and we all have to
yeah.
take
There's
it
no real
seriously.
hiding from it. I mean, like I said, you
Mm,
can't just go, I just want to grill. Like, they are,
mm,
they will come for you.
yeah, yeah. I know a lot of kids play these video games, and they just want to have a fun shoot 'em up, and I mean, that's what I like to do when I was a young boy. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's kind of, if you're a parent and you allow your kids to play video games, well, you might have to, you know, look at what kind of games, you know, you allow them to buy, you know, because
yeah, absolutely.
mm,
Yeah,
mm,
yeah. You shouldn't just let your children be raised by games media. It's like letting TV raise your child. It's pretty much just as bad at this point.
mm, mm.
Greatest Ally Israel said, I mean, Hogwarts did well, didn't it? Surely they aren't being tricked into it anymore. Well, the thing is, like, the Hogwarts game was still like a liberal game. Like,
Mm.
people go, oh, it was epic because it's mostly just like J.K. Rowling doesn't like trannies, but the game still had like trannies in it and like homo wizards and stuff in it. So it was
Yeah.
still sort of in the game. It's just some like deranged lunatics wanted to boycott the game because they didn't like the person that wrote the books anymore. Like, it was
Jeez.
sort of dumb. But
Yeah, yeah.
the game itself was still pretty like woke nonsense. I haven't really played it, but that's what I've heard.
Mm,
But yeah, I think that's sort of it. I
mm,
think we've covered everything for the day. We've done a brief overview of the government's 100-day plan and a little bit of a dabble into Gamergate too.
mm. Even just that logo is a bit, to me, and maybe
Oh,
this
the
is
Sweet
just because
Baby
I've,
logo.
yeah, maybe this is just because I've looked at a lot of MK Ultra kind of stuff and how they program people's minds through images and you know, in TV shows, and you know, I used to go quite deep into that just because out of interest, and even that is kind of a little bit sinister, or suggest. I don't know if you've really looked into that much, Hector, but
I mean, it is a weird looking logo.
yeah,
I mean, it's a
I
toy
won't.
baby with like a strange lollipop vortex thing. Like,
Yeah, which the FBI has identified the vortex swirl thing with, you know, these known offenders, right? These
yeah,
known sexual offenders. I mean, that is a documented FBI thing that they are trained with to look out for. And I just wanted to throw that out there, that's kind of weird, and it kind of goes in tandem with the fact that they know that young people play video games, and they're trying to infiltrate these gay themes into your video games that your child plays. So I don't want to. That's a bit far out, you know. To some people who have looked at the same stuff, some people will hear what I'm saying and they'll go, I think that's far fetched. But there are also a lot of people who listen to what I'm saying who are, you know, well versed in this kind of stuff, and they'll say, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, Gilbert. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think you're one of those people, Hector. But anyway, that was just something that made me go, huh, that is weird. That's a bit suspect. But anyway, you know, it's weird. Why would you choose that logo? You know, and then be associated with these troons and Marxists who are known that there's been a big recent pedo scare about this thing as of recent, as we know, with the drag queen story
Yeah.
time and all of it, you know.
Yeah, look, it's like
So
weird.
yeah, like hypnosis kind of swirly. Yeah, it just, and we know this general group of people are, they're, you know, have been involved in this kind of conditioning, trying to get people to like accept it. And it's even sounds insane me saying it, but that is where we're at nowadays. So there's really nowhere to hide, guys. And it's like, why we need to kind of direct our lives towards one that has to be of a
Yeah,
political
look,
nature. I'm sorry, we can't play our video games anymore. We have to. Yeah, this
this
is
is
the
the
kind of.
symbol that pedophiles, basically. The boy lover logo, as they call it. It's like a triangular
Ugh.
spiral. Pretty gross stuff. But yeah, there is a similarities.
And there's all kinds of
Kinda.
variations
Yeah.
that they used, not just that, but that they use all kinds of different ones. I've seen schematics, and uh, you know, they use all kinds of different variations on that theme of that swirl thing. So yeah, I think they use pizza as well. That was the Pizzagate, where it kind of looks like the shape of a triangle as well. So there are various things they use to signal to each other that, just like, I don't know, a druggie might throw some shoes over the power lines, or there's various things that they do. But yeah, so that's a thing. Or how traffickers, they put a zip tie on someone's car door. They'll
Yeah.
tie like a zip tie. Yeah. So yeah, this is all the signaling that they use, and I find that very, to me, that's very suspect. You know, a baby, and then you've got the swirl thing. So it's just like we have to, all those who are awake, all those who are listening and aware of what's going on, we see where things are going. We have to direct our lives to one that is of a political nature, and this may mean getting a job that is in government, you know, or you know, in central intel, or we just have to flood these places of power that make up the spine of our nature, of our nation, make up the spine of our nation, and are is the broker of power. That's government jobs, and you know, agencies, these kinds of things. You know, we need to, you know, get your friends government jobs if you can, who are aware to this kind of stuff. So yeah, that's what I would say, because it is kind of like, people do kind of laugh about this sort of stuff, but it's actually that it has spread so far to this realm where it's kind of considered a right wing male circle, right? I mean, is I think that's, call me silly, but I think it's it says a lot, you know, that you've got that symbolism, these kinds of whacked out weirdo people pushing this kind of stuff to this kind of space. So that's what I'll say about that.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right. I think that's where we're going to wrap it up. Yeah, it's been nearly 2 hours, so we'll wrap it up now. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll see. Oh, actually, we're probably going to take a break over Easter, so we'll see you after Easter in April. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the rest of your week, and enjoy your Easter holiday. Hope you all stay blessed and not stressed, and we'll see you next time we see you, which probably in about 2 or 3 weeks. So, have a good one, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
See ya.